fit. Nice and tight.
Hey, what's going on, YouTubers? EXO coming at you here on the brink of some seriously awesome developments. I can't even tell you how much I'm looking forward to all this. Things are finally getting real over here. So if you're new to the crew watching, thanks for joining the channel. My name's Bruce and I have been busting butt the past 6 months trying to get my place up and running. It's been a bit of a nightmare in hindsight, but hey, you gotta roll with the punches sometimes, right? In our last video, we left off working on the car audio shop, cleaning the seams around the floor, sealing the gaps where bugs like to go, and just started putting up 2x4s. Having some good, strong walls will be great in there. I can already see all the convenient stuff hanging everywhere. Oh, I can't wait. So without any further ado, let's stop all the gabbing and get this show on the road. Without a second pair of hands around, these big 15-footers kept falling off the wall each time I tried screwing them. Fixed that real quick with a spare 2x4 as a makeshift jig. A single screw on the board below it and voila, back in business to keep going row after row.
Little trick to get it done by myself. Not too bad.
With these 11-foot walls, the top row was definitely the most sketchy, but all those years of skateboarding kept me nice and straight. Can't say the same for some of the crooked lumber I got stuck with, though.
Man, gotta love that freaking bow. It's crooked as a mother. What on earth?
Hundreds of screws later and almost 1,000 feet of 2x4s and the walls are fully furred out. Next up, while sparing you the boredom of running tons of wire, a good electrical layout was key. I planned it out so each and every area gets its own circuit and then some, even went oversized on the cables just in case I upgrade a line to 220 someday.
You like the rain? Yeah, me neither. Doing some work in the garage today. Getting some work done. I just said that.
Now before I start cutting out all the little holes for the outlets themselves, there's one thing I gotta be really aware of, is because some of my camera chargers and drill chargers have weird plugs. They're oblong and stick out rectangular past the profile of the outlet. So what I gotta do is space these about 4 inches on center from each circuit, so if I use something that's extra wide, even like an adapter plate, it won't get in the way at all. Alright, the cutouts for the outlets are looking great, and I think the spacing is just gonna be what I need for those little adapter plates, having a little freaking mini fridge set up over here, maybe a toaster oven and a TV. Well, I know I'm doing all that. So I can't just go putting this piece of wood on the wall yet. I got one more step to do, and I don't even know if I told you guys this, but there's gonna be another overkill status with some R13 fiberglass in that little hollow cavity, because when the temperature changes in here, it's like a hot engine cooling down on a cool day. Clink, clank, clank, clamp. So I'm hoping that this little John Mansville thermal and sound control will help ease that a little bit, because it already has done quite a number right here. This is the west facing wall, so during the later parts of the day, it heats up quick and it's really crinkle crackle. So I've already noticed that I can't hear it as much because I get that little bit of a barrier there, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do it the whole way around. Now I can already hear the people asking why the insulation isn't like, you know, perfectly against the wall, there's a little bow in it. Well, that's because these are made for what, 24 inch on center studs? And these are 20 inches, so I gotta squeeze them in a little bit like an accordion. And I've already done it over there, but once the flat surface goes and pushes it in, it'll be nice and flat up against the wall, you know what I'm saying? You won't even notice that. I'm breaking out in sweat right now. It's like 50 degrees, but it feels like it's 80. It's going up pretty good though. Now for the bigger window pieces, just measured up and over on both sides, because wouldn't you know it, this building is not consistent whatsoever. Good thing I didn't just go from the middle too, because it was a nice tight fit already. This whole wall done, time to bring the big shelf back over here so I can do the other side. This thing weighs like 1,000 pounds. There we go, nice fresh area to work in. Things are fitting in nice on this end, but I'm gonna take you up the ladder here and share a little something that I thought was pretty darn cool while I was building this. I like to pinch pennies as much as I can, and I went to the recycling bin probably a dozen times during this project, and tell me if these look familiar, man. We'll do a little press into place. Oh, I'm almost falling. We'll do a little press into place with this little bracket. And does it look familiar? Let's go ahead and push her in snug. Here's the cut, nice and snug here. Whoops. So that's what it's gonna happen right there. We made the clearance for the screws and then beveled it a little bit to match the gusset of that bracket. And speaking of that bracket, that is over 10 years old from Frankenstein. 618's build log right there, man. Getting stuff done, doing the same thing all over again all these years later with the freaking behemoth build on deck. Oh, it feels surreal to be here doing it all over again. And I always wanted my own shop with my own tools. I remember building it down in Iragi's place, and Richard, Tech Force Richard, he had a garage with metal siding here, and now I'm putting up my own wood. It feels awesome, feels really awesome.
fit. Nice and tight.
Man, I wish time-lapse was how it worked in real life because this was a pain in the butt. But we have got every single last piece up on the wall. Look at all that insulation. So now we just need to put the last bit of wood on there, and luckily, a full-size 4x8 sheet of plywood has given us thirds of 32, so I'm just gonna use the full width, and it will give us about a half of a foot above that top furring strip 2x4. Got all my other pieces laid out too. That's one thing I like to do while doing a lot of repetition is do one task as much as you can before moving on. For instance, I could have put these up one by one, attach it, go cut it, attach it, go cut it, attach it. But that makes walking back and forth like increase 10 times. So you can save quite a bit of time by doing one task as many repetitions as possible. And I know that probably sounds like common sense to most people, but it took me quite a while to dial in that workflow because I would be walking back and forth a million times until a particular spot was done and then I'd move on. And then I learned to kind of just go step by step and repeat. We all got something we're guilty of in the workshop. So if you're brave enough to share what you've been kind of have bad habit in the past, let us know in the comments and how you were able to overcome it and what you do now to better yourself. With the walls going up quick, the final wiring was ready to go. Went commercial grade on the 20 amp receptacles, all back wired, GFCI protected upstream, and made sure to keep my slack to a max for any changes or tie-ins. Well, she's coming along. Feeling great about it too. Just looking around the joint makes me feel super rewarded already. Walls are up, electricity is a-flowing. So really, there's only a few steps left to really seal the deal in here. First and foremost, workbenches. This very first bay is about 16 feet wide and it will house the majority of my tabletop. So building a bench from scratch, a whole set of them, is really the only way to fill up the space properly. Also, you may have noticed these hanging wires. Well, let's just say a full heating and cooling system is coming soon too. Next up, this little area right here, the door closest to the workbenches has a perfectly sized little corner for various wood storage and project materials. So I'm just gonna add a partition to it to keep it all organized. Another job to tackle is this huge sucker. Talk about a shelf, huh? Dang. When I first got here, it was covered in filth and growing mold. Tried my best to blast it off, but it was just too stubborn. Now I got fresh planks and I'll repaint the steel to match my red toolboxes. And once we get this shelf ready to store things on, the best is yet to come. Oh my gosh, look at all this fun stuff. RC cars and subwoofers. Whew. My two favorite things in the world. These have been sitting since the big move to Tennessee 6 months ago. Literally nowhere to go but here. Already used up my smaller metal shelves over there and had to partially dismantle the big boy just to be able to push it around in the meantime because it was way too heavy, even empty. So now that the walls and electrical are finally done, we can park this shelf for good, reassemble her, and get these subwoofers out of here so we can resume the behemoth build once and for all. I'd like to thank you for watching today's video, but before you go, I have a special request from my ma, of all people. Remember that cool vintage speaker that we took apart with my mom on video? Well, she started her own YouTube channel and we made a video together. She's a big time plant lady, grows all sorts of great things. I love her so much, and I'd love anyone here with a green thumb to go show her some love. Plants are pretty awesome things, man. They make the world tick. So if you're into that type of thing, go check out Planty Pants on YouTube. That's my ma. So until the next video, this is EXO signing out. I hope you enjoyed today's little spread. Lots more great stuff coming your way. Thank you guys for shopping at Showtime Electronics for all your car audio stuff. So I will see you on the flip side with more workshop progress. It's EXO signing out.